Hello everyone, TinaGAle here with my scrappy ideas, and today I'm here doing a layout in response to Tracie Claiborne's challenge from her new Live Inspired podcast where she interviewed Jana Eubank. And so the challenge is to find one of Jana's layouts and to scrap lift it. And so here is the layout that I found, and I'm going to be scrap lifting it. And I've been a long time admirer of Jana's, so this is going to be a lot of fun to create this layout. So the product that I'm using today is CocoaVanilla's 'Tis the Season line, and I've already kind of pre-cut some of them. And then I had this paper pad from Recollections that was an old Christmas line, and I didn't really plan on using all of this, but I loved this craft and it has this faint stripe in it. So I'm going to cut this down and use it as a background, and I also cut my title out of this. And then I have a lot of the embellishments. I'm not sure what I'll use. I have the sticker sheets and the wood veneer and all of that. The first thing that I've done is cut this candy cane striped pattern paper for a mat for my photo. And then I had this kind of polka dot. It's got this brown polka dot on it, and I wanted it as a little bit of neutral, and I'm just going to have it peeking off to the left-hand side a little bit just to break up, and my title's going to go over there as well, and so that's going to give me a little bit of grounding for my title. I went ahead and cut down this blue paper that has the trees on it, and I stitched around it onto this background, and you might notice I ended up cutting just a little bit more than normal off of this blue paper, and so I have a little bit of that background showing, some of that print, but it's really not that noticeable, so you know, I'm okay with it. And then I had these two strips that I had cut, and in Jana's layout that I'm lifting, she had torn the edges, and so you saw me sitting there kind of contemplating whether I wanted to tear that or not. Sometimes I have a difficult time with techniques and doing things like this when it's something that used to be really popular and we kind of like drove it into the ground doing it. I have trouble going back and doing it again, thinking that the layout's going to look dated or, you know, I'm not going to like it as much. And so I was trying to decide whether I wanted to do it. I really loved it on Jana's layout, but again, I was just kind of afraid that if I did it on mine, I would be going, oh, this looks like something that I did, you know, 15 years ago or whatever. But I ended up thinking, nope, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to, you know, because I do use a lot more layers now than what I used to. The embellishments, just, you know, all my skill levels are so much higher. And, you know, techniques are different otherwise. And so I decided to go ahead and just go for it. And I'm really glad I did. I like the way that it turned out. So this bottom piece that has these border strips of the reindeer and the tree and the geometric designs, it's torn on each side. But then this vertical one that's blue, she had it cut just straight across. And I liked that because that kind of broke up that torn paper look, and because I stitched around it and I kind of pulled up and distressed all of those edges, it goes really well with all of that, and it looks completely, you know, like it was done in 2015. So I'm really happy with it. So I have all that on there, and then I go ahead and attach my photo so that I can kind of build up some of my clusters and things. It frustrates me if it's moving all around, so I decided just to go ahead and attach it. I knew where I pretty much wanted it, but I end up, I go later and pull it up and pull that polka dot pattern out just a little bit more because I really wanted more of that showing on the left-hand side because that's where I'm going to run my title. And so I wanted more of that showing. So I do later kind of pull that up and pull it out a little bit. This is one of the stickers from the sticker sheet. And I knew right away that I wanted to use it on the layout. In Jana's layout, she had a big, long, nice title and her journaling and everything off to the right-hand side. And I'm going to include just this as a subtitle, kind of, and just some embellishments on the right-hand side. And then my journaling, I'm going to do it at the bottom where I left that blue paper showing because I have quite a bit that I want to write. And so this little banner just says, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And I'm just looking for other things that I can include. And you saw at the beginning I had pulled out different wood veneers from the collection that I thought would work. and I have my sticker sheet here. And normally I really like to build up lots and lots of little layers from the stickers and stuff. But on this one, I was kind of having a hard time finding pieces that are what I normally do. So I ended up kind of setting that aside and going to my title. And I cut this title out of that background paper. And it's kind of funny because I had this title picked out before I picked the layout that I wanted to scrap lift of Jana's. And hers was very similar in the title of, I believe it was My Shoulder to Lean On, and it was a layout about her husband. And so this layout is about my son, and I had already decided that the title to this photo was going to be My Mr. Conductor. And the story is just going to be a little bit about how he always loved Thomas the Tank Engine and the Mr. Conductor on that. And then at Christmas time, our church always hosts a big Christmas train where, you know, thousands, I think there's like 40,000 people that come through or whatever. And we volunteer each year. And one of his favorite positions was being one of the conductors on the train, which just assists the guest, you know, on and off the train and answer questions and does all that. And so this particular night I was not working, and so I had went with them to get their costumes on and everything, and he looked so handsome in his conductor outfit, and so I snapped this photo with him really quick. And so the story is just going to be a little bit about how I think his love for Thomas the Tank Engine might have a little bit to do with the role that he most likes doing out there during Christmas train, as being a conductor, and that I'm just so thankful for his willingness to serve, and that it's a perfect position for him because he is just wonderful with the guests and interacting with them, and he's just a fabulous young man. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about him and his personality, and then how it ties into this position of his role volunteering for our Christmas train that our church hosts. So I've added just a few other things to the layout. These are stickers from the sticker sheet. This one here is kind of the trash that was stuck to my desk from another layout that I had done. And it's the spiral part that came away from a sticker. But I had kept it there thinking, you know, that would look really good on a layout as an embellishment and stuff. And I happened to see it stuck down there, and I thought, well, that would be kind of cute down at the bottom. And so I just trimmed it to the length, and I added it underneath the photo just to add a little bit more interest down there without adding bulk or anything. This top embellishment, I thought the tickets were cute since this was riding the train. And so it says, you know, admit 1, 25 cents, and then memories. And I used the badge that said joy. And then I just added the 3 wood veneers to kind of ground my 3 clusters that I'm going to be doing. And then on Jana's layout, she had tied some twine around the bottom of her photo and added a couple of buttons. And I thought that was really cute. I was afraid it wasn't going to work, that it was going to be a little bit too much since my embellishments are a little bit different than hers. But at the end, I decided to go ahead and go for it, and I'm really glad I did. So I just went to my stash. These are just old buttons that I had. And I had picked out anything that I thought would kind of go. So I have some different shades of brown, and then the turquoisey teal blue. And I ended up deciding on the 2 different shades of blue. And so I'm just going to tie this around. And this would have been a lot easier had I done it before I put the title on. But it ends up working. I just wrapped it around about 3 times, and then took the ends of the string through my button and tied a bow. And then this other button, I ended up just putting the twine through it and pulled it to the back, and then just put a glue dot so it'll hold all the strings in. And then I'm just going to glue dot it to that photo. And so that's a nice little embellishment that's, you know, if you're trying to save money or you don't want to buy a lot of the embellishments or whatever, that's a great little thing. Just get into your button jar and add some buttons and some twine. So these are the 3 wood veneers, and so I have this little holly piece, and I wanted to fill in, I purposely put the My Mr. offset, you know, where it started before the word conductor, knowing that I was going to add some embellishment there. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but I knew that I wanted something there. I tried to move the title down a little bit to go around the D. where the Maya and the Mister would split that up. But I really thought that it was going to look better if I put the embellishment down further so that the triangle would be a little bit more spaced out. I don't really like having, like if I had split the Maya and the Mister, that holly wood veneer would have been kind of almost straight across from the round one at the bottom. And I don't really like to do that. I like them offset. And you can see here I ended up moving it. It was still too close to being straight across, so I changed it and moved it to the top of the banner, and I like that a lot better. And so one of the last things that I always do is pull out my enamel dots. And so I just pulled out everything that I kind of thought would work. I had some of these brown sparkly gems, and I thought that would be pretty. But this paper is really distressed and older looking, and so I thought it was just a little bit too shiny. And then I had these that were my mind's eye that's on trend, and the kind of pinky coral color matched perfectly with the paper, and I really wanted to brighten up that holly. And I thought I would put more of those coral around, but it was just a little bit too much color. It didn't really look good. I liked the brown. These are a wood grain brown enamel dots, and they looked a lot better. And so I used those to kind of go across my embellishment clusters. I also had these white stars hunted out. I thought they would be really cute. And I thought about maybe adding them in as well, but I really like just the simplicity of the brown wood grain and decided to just kind of leave everything there. And then I also added that bow up at the top. Those bows, I just adore those bows. I'm trying to put them on everything. I can't work them in as well as I would like to, but I am trying to use them up. So here I'm just going to add my journaling that I've already talked about. So I'm just kind of talking about my son. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add my date stamp, and that's going to finish this layout. So I want to thank Tracie for her new podcast, The Live Inspired. I'm really, really enjoying it. And I loved hearing about Jana's progress through the scrapbooking industry and how she's worked her way through stuff. I've been a long time fan of hers. I used to just couldn't wait for the new Scrapbook Circle magazines to come out to see her layouts and stuff, and I've scrap lifted a few. So I might share some of them. There's one in particular I can think of that I fell in love with and I scrap lifted. So I might try to pull that out and share on my blog. But thanks so much for watching. If you're not a subscriber, I would love to have you subscribe. If you enjoyed this, be sure to give me a thumbs up and check out Tracie's podcast as well as Jana's blog. I'll have all the links down below so that you can find all of their work. And so that's all for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.